Hey, what's going on, y'all? Appreciate every single one of y'all tuning into this episode. Right now, we're doing a film breakdown on Oregon State right tackle Taliese Fuaga. He's had a very good start to the pre-draft process. Gained a lot of interest, gained a lot of steam. Some teams and uh, some out there draft analysts have him skyrocketing up on their offensive tackle ratings. So we're going to be breaking down his film. Before we start doing that, though, we're going to do a short little bio about Taliese Fuaga, both in high school and in college, stats-wise as well. He stands at 6'6", 334 pounds, and 88.2 PFF grade. Stats-wise in college, hasn't given up a sack in his career at Oregon State, never allowed more than 3 hits in a year. 18 career hurries is what he's allowed throughout his entire career at Oregon State. His bio in high school, class of 2020, three-star prospect, played offense and defensive line in high school, held offers from Oregon, USC, Oregon State, Nevada, and Hawaii. I love that he played on the offense and defensive line in high school because that's valuable experience as an offensive lineman. You know how a defensive lineman wants to attack you and vice versa, so you can form your craft upon that. Now, his bio in college started only 4 games as a freshman, but then each year gradually got more snaps, got a little bit more experience, and as an NFL organization, that's something you love to see. You love to see progress get matched with experience and those sorts of things. So yeah, let's break this down. Really excited to deep dive into what he does well, what he doesn't do well, and of course, as y'all know, that's textbook. So here we go, y'all. Taliese Fuaga, Oregon State right tackle. The thing that jumps off to me or jumps out the film when I watch it, how he gets up to the next level in his mobility, as well as what he does run blocking wise. What run blocking wise, he's a road grader and a mauler. And so gonna watch a couple of clips right here, and you see he's getting up to the next level. He's working on this defense alignment. And on these sort of blocks, I guess you could call them like these stretch runs or blocks where the offensive linemen are going left or right. You want to keep your hips and shoulders square. You never really want to turn your hips and shoulders one way because if you do that, you lose positioning and you lose leverage. And of course, as we've known watching these offense and defense lineman prospects through these film breakdowns so far, what the things you want to have is positioning and leverage. So he does a good job of just keeping square, not turning his hips or shoulders one way, and you see the road grader, an absolute mauler. Now here working up, this is what he does in space, and a lot of teams are gonna love this. Gets out and how quickly he gets out of once that ball snapped, right? So we can see ball snapped and he's already out of the gate, and he's going up to the next level, working on the linebacker, making a key block, and look at that path for the running back that you see that he has, and a potential to gain a first down. So those are the things right there jump out on the film to me, what he does significantly well. And then again, working on a lot of these runs, you want to keep your hips and shoulders square. You don't want to give in them the defensive lineman any positioning leverage, or I wouldn't say hints, but like a fast start or a step ahead of you is the better thing to say. Moves that linebacker, and then now look at the cutback lane. If the running back were to work this cutback lane, look at what is available right there because of what Fuaga does, run blocking, getting up to the linebacker in the second level. Now, I believe with this clip, one of the things you love it, you love this trait, but at the same time, it's a love or hate because you want to keep it contained. You don't want to be too aggressive when you're run blocking and to do that sort of thing, right? Like we love that you are going to give 100% effort all the time and you have that physicality, mean streak in you, but we also want to contain it to where we're not getting penalties, 15-yard unsportsmanlike penalties, being off schedule and setting our offense back. So right there, just something, like I said, you love, but you want to be able to contain and coach it. That's something I believe that NFL teams can coach. Okay, so we've seen what he does run blocking wise, right? Getting up to the next level. Now let's just look at the specific game film right here. He's going up against Oregon. Oregon, in my opinion, when I watched them, I liked the way they played. They were physical in the trenches. Offense and defensive line were really good. So let's watch what he does up against Oregon. And I feel like it's going to be a good test for him as to how we see he's going to translate within the NFL. So right here, that's a good kick step. And then he's able to diagnose the stunt. Like the games I've watched, whether that be through the all 22 lens or through the broadcast lens, is he's able to process these stunts like this, where he has to work up to the defensive tackle that's going to his side. He processes really well. So he's able to process that and get a really nice rep. Now here, run blocking again, seals off that edge. That's what you want to do. That's his responsibility. And then right here. So one thing I'll say is, and he tends to do it a lot, is he will lean his head or lean more so into contact. And like what we talked about with leverage and positioning, that's something you don't want to do, because when you lean your head or you duck your head forward, you can't see what you're going to block or what the defensive lineman is going to do. And of course, simply put, you can't block what you can't see if you're leaning your head into the point of contact. So he does over there. And if I were to go like into right here into this frame, you don't want to have your head over your toes. That's just because that's positioning, and he's going to get beat on this rep, and he does. Here, run blocking again. Now, thing I'll say is he's got help right here with his buddy offensive lineman right here. They're doing a double team block right here. But the thing is, you don't want to have that type of narrow base and be playing that high. The key is the low man always wins. And I know with these offensive lineman film breakdowns, I'm going to sound repetitive, but those are just the basics of football, and you have to nail those down. You have to have a good base, and you have to get low in positioning. Now, one thing I've learned, or that I've seen a lot of offensive line coaches teach, is when you're doing these sorts of blocks and you're going to get up to the next level. He doesn't get into the next level on this clip, but just for reference, you want to put your hands onto the hip, and you really want to lean into that hip, because the hip is going to move, and you can be able to move them out of that gap. So just something I think he'll learn at the next level. And same thing, right? He's working on this block with his buddy offensive lineman number 61 right here. And what I like from this rep is he gets that, and then he's able to quickly have the timing of it, get to the linebacker, create a lane. Really good rep from Fuaga right there. And then the kick step. So he's got, and I've seen him do it a lot with processing these stunts, and he'll put his left hand inside to just kind of get a feel. Then he'll work back to these blocks, leaning into contact a little bit. Again, not something you want to do. Able to work on another run. Now here I would say I mean, does he get beat? And is it going to be something that when you look back at the game or you watch it, it's something awful? No, but I don't know the size of this defensive lineman right here, but what I will say is I think Fuaga has a size advantage over him. So you want to be able to just move this guy. Now, I don't know if Oregon State's teaching it differently, where they just want him to seal this edge right here, maintain the block, or to just move him. But, I mean, we see now maybe the back makes a wrong read. Maybe he could have this cutback. Don't know the whole specifics there. But it ends in a tackle for loss. And then again, just processing the stunts. Like he'll put that left hand out as a guide to really feel the stunts. Moves them off right there. Not a whole lot from there. And right here, so he at times will have his hands out wide. And when I talk about hand positioning, really the proper hand positioning is whether if you're a right tackle, what you want to do is you want to put your left hand onto the bicep, the right bicep of the defensive lineman. And so what that's going to do is naturally that hand's just going to slide up to the shoulder pad. So then you want to be able to get a hold of that shoulder pad, and with your right hand, you want it to be on their left pec. With that type of hand positioning, you're able to get the shoulder pads and hold right there. Now I know keyword, I did say hold. That's something that's a penalty in football in general, right? The key is when you have that type when you have that grip and you know you have that grip strength, you can be able to control the pads and control the defensive lineman like that. Is pull them into your chest, because when you pull them into your chest, the the defensive lineman or the edge isn't going to be able to squirm out of it and it look like a hold from the referee's point of view. Just something to he'll learn that, right, and then we can see with the hand positioning here that it gets to the bicep is a little bit wide, you would say, right, and then he fits right there back into the middle of the chest. But just something, of course, a lot of these prospects, not just Fuaga, but all of these offensive linemen will learn. And just how he gets out into space, really impressive. Again, processing the stunt, and then to be able to mirror, right? Because you have to make them stay in front of you. That's what he does. He's making this defensive lineman just stay in front of him. And a lot of that comes with moving your feet. So he does it well sometimes, but I think we'll find other clips where his feet aren't as quick or consistent as they should be. Processing stunts and then just mirroring, keeping hands on them. So, and we see a lot of hand fighting going on right there, right? Defensive lineman swats those hands off, kind of does that, like, I don't know the specific move, but they're like karate moves, right? He's able to reposition. Now a lot of it's going to be okay, so this defensive lineman gets a path to the quarterback. He's got you beat a little bit. How are you going to redirect and or reposition yourself, recovery speed? And he does it pretty well there. Processing again, stunts, something he does really high at a high level. Run blocking, able to he's quick off the ball. And that's what he does tremendously, I would say. Now what we talked about is playing high, and when you lean a little bit too far forward, like he's leaning forward, and it feels like the picture is a little bit muddied, pixelated, but that he's on his toes, and so that defensive lineman is able to understand the leverage and take advantage of it. And now we have our right tackle on the ground, which is a position we don't want to be in. And then right here, like that's good feet. And I would have to say he's got a pretty good shuffle. So he gets his feet, he's got his hands inside, and they're not too low, but they're at a good position where he's able to strike. There we go, right here, right? Left hand, what I was talking about with hand positioning, left hand on the bicep, but then that's traditionally going to slide up to the shoulder pad, right hand, and to be able to steer. And he's got that grip, he's got that strength, right? He holds on. You could say it's a hold, but of course, I guess the natural saying in the NFL is a lot of offensive linemen hold. It's just sometimes the referees don't see it, and if they can't see it, they can't call it. So good play from Fuaga there. Like I say, with these types of blocks, you want to be able to move these defensive linemen out of their gap and to be able to create that lane. And what I think, some lineman coaches may teach it differently, but if you get into that hip, you just give a little nudge with your hands, get low, you can be able to move that defensive lineman. Now, does he move him a whole lot? Not really, but then he's able to get to the next level. Right there, I mean, this just comes with, I have to say, constantly moving your feet. Like he's in good positioning. He's got the hands as well. But then you got to be able to move your feet, and you can see he's kind of turned more so like his hips are facing the sideline over here to his left, our right. And that's just how he gets beat. Now the play is kind of blown up. Just really quick out of his stance, gets his hands where they need to be. And then now this guy, number 2, leaks out to the running back. So you got to find some kind of work. And you see he keeps his head on a swivel. Awareness, processing, always looking for some work. Traits you love to see from an offensive lineman. And then hands, he's able to swat those hands down. Now he gets that defensive lineman off balance. And then just to be able to control. Now, one thing I'll have to say, and I don't think it's that rep specifically, I think we're going to find it a little bit later, though, is, and I saw this at the Senior Bowl, I think speed rushers and finesse rushers can get the best of him at times. So that's where the stiff hips that he has and the redirecting recovery speed is going to have to come in play. Really good kick step and just patient with it, right? This one's going to take a little bit of a while for the defensive lineman to get there, right? But just move your feet, have those hands ready, be able to put yourself in a good position, and don't create a pressure to the quarterback. Again, right there, good rep from Fuaga. And just that patience, like that takes a long time for them to get there, right? So just have patience in your rep and in your technique. Good run block. Again, hands inside and just always shuffle your feet. Like I love to see offensive linemen that consistently move their feet quickly and they got a good base. Like you see the shuffle, right? Good base. Good base. Now again, he does lean into contact, but as I said in his college bio, he played only 4 games as a freshman, and then the snaps gradually went up each year. So he's still learning. If you're an NFL team and you find out he has a lot of the traits and he's still learning, it just makes you that much more intrigued. Good kick step, the hands right, get onto the shoulder pads and be able to anchor. Gets pushed back a little bit, then his teammate falls on him. Still a good rep from Fuaga. And the processing, right? Like you can see he's looking left. He looks left, tries to feel it, gets his left hand out there to feel if there's going to be any kind of stunt, because he knows a lot of times he gets beat to his right shoulder, and you don't want to get beat inside, and of course you don't want to get beat to the outside with these speed rushers. So just put the hand there, position your hips and your body to where their path to the quarterback is the longest path, and that's what he does. Good anchor. Hands inside. Now they're going to use a finesse rush. So a lot of these pass rushers that you're going to face in the NFL, it's not just all this power and you're not going to be able to overpower them, right? They're going to come with some technique, some speed, some finesse as well. So how are you able to handle that? So he gets out pretty quickly, gets his hands, but you can't duck your head a little bit. Going to sound continuous and repeated with these issues of ducking your head and leaning into contact. But I think we see how bad it can end up when you do that. So ducks his head. Now how quick can you recover? Does a little bit, but it's a pressure to the quarterback. Defensive lineman has a chance to make a sack. And it's not what we want. So that is it. That is a wrap for Oregon State right tackle Taliese Fuaga, his film breakdown. And let's start off with the bad and end with the good. So what I watched on tape, what he does badly, and not specifically this tape, more so of a combination of that tape and what I have seen through him, whether that be the broadcast view, all 22 film view, and those sorts of things. Bad, I think, in the run game sometimes he can get caught with angles. I think he'll need to understand those just a bit more at the next level. Quick feet, he has a good get off, but the quick feet, are they consistent enough? I need to see a little bit more of that for the next level. Leans into contact, something we mentioned in this film breakdown. Speed rushers or speed and finesse rushers, I think, can overwhelm him. Saw that a little bit at the Senior Bowl. Saw that on some of the broadcast games. A little bit in this current film breakdown. Redirecting, I think that's more so of which is my next thing that I think he needs to work on. Stiff hips. It's a little bit of stiff hips. How well does he recover, and does he feel overwhelmed a little bit with those speed and finesse rushers? And the last one, I think shoulders, just staying square. There were some times where I watched him in some games, whether that be Utah or I want to say UCLA. He more so faces his hips and he opens the gate one way or the other, leaving a path inside or outside to the quarterback. So those are things I think he needs to work on at the next level based on what I've seen collectively that he's put together. Now the good. Mobility, it's excellent. The way he gets up to the next level, very rare that you see that from someone who is 6'6", 334, that you see them have that type of speed, get off, mobility up to the next level. Very good. He's a mauler, a road grader, very good in the run game, does a lot of those things well. Processing stunts, his awareness, he's always looking for work. He's got that mean streak in him, he's got that physicality. You have to coach it down and tone it down a little bit, but I think a lot of teams are going to see that intriguing, and coaches will find that they think or they believe that they can coach those. Lastly, for the good mirroring and shuffle. He's got a really good shuffle. Holds on, latches on, mirrors, keeps the defensive player, the edge rusher, in front of him when he's able to latch on and get hands first. And so overall, collectively, I've seen a lot of people mock Taliese Fuaga in the top 10. Some even have him being the first tackle off the draft based on what I've seen on the film. And to select him that highly, I'm not too sure about. Listen, he has the traits. It's just the concerns of quick feet, redirecting, the stiff hips, and how speed and finesse rushers can sometimes feel like overwhelm him. And I feel like when you're picking a player that's in the top 10 in the first round, you want them to be that right tackle that you can rely on to stop some of these elite edge rushers like a Micah Parsons, Max Crosby, TJ Watt, Myles Garrett, all of those guys in that realm. Day one, I don't think that's going to be the case. I think he's going to have some struggles. Of course, a lot of rookies do. I'm just not so comfortable picking him in the top 10. Now, outside the top 10, in the top 15, in the 15 area or in the teens, I do feel really comfortable with that. And the last thing I'll say is, I think with all the traits that he has, and of course, it's sometimes teams' approach to drafting or draft picks in general, especially in the first round, is not about immediate success, but the potential and to see things that maybe others don't. Potential, I think he does have, but I think he'll have some issues at tackle the first couple of years. I just see him most better fitted for just kick inside at a right guard. I think he'll be an all-pro right guard with everything that he has. The biggest issue with him, like I've mentioned a lot, speed rushers. At right guard and inside, you're not going to have to deal with that a lot. So I think if a team drafts him and they're going to put him in that right guard spot, right, same kind of area, you don't switch him all the way to left guard, just keep him at right guard, just let him kick in. I think he'll be an all-pro right guard and definitely worth the pick in the first round for teams that need offensive linemen. Teams that I think need offensive linemen, the New York Jets, all of those teams in that kind of teen area. The Pittsburgh Steelers, I think, could definitely use him. Just a couple teams I think would be a best fit for him, but he does have a tremendous upside, tremendous potential in this draft. I'm just not confident of saying plug and play right away. And so that's it for this film breakdown. That's it for my recap. Let me know what y'all think in the comments. Hit that like button, subscribe, follow me on social media. The links to my social media will be in the description. I appreciate all of y'all. Have a blessed Friday. God bless. Take care. And until next time, deuces.